Okay, here's a question from Ethan. It says, I mostly hunt hill country. With that being said, at what point does the wind overpower thermals?
Do you want me to answer that, or are you going to answer?
Yeah, go ahead. Answer that one.
At what point does the wind overpower the thermals?
Yeah. I think
Well,
he's like asking how high does the wind speed have to be before the thermals don't
well,
matter, kind of thing.
that's an open-ended question you really can't answer. That's why I'd rather Josh embarrass himself with that one.
I don't.
But
Yes.
um, it can depend on how hot it is, how sunny it is. It can depend on a lot of things. How big the hill is. Bigger hills will have bigger steeper hills that are a longer distance in elevation will have more force. Um, and really, you never, well, I shouldn't say never, it happens. But most of the time, you don't overpower thermals, because what happens is that there's calm periods. Like, wind doesn't just blow steady. And when you think the wind just hesitated for a minute, what it really did, it was backflow, and the thermals took over. And you might not feel it, but it's going to float up to where the deer are. So to me, you just about always got to take thermals into effect. You'd have to have a pretty steady, strong wind where you get one directional of a high wind before I'd ever consider trying to beat a thermal.
Yeah.
I think the thermal is the first thing I think about setting up.
And it's also like it's one of those deals too where even if you think the wind's high enough, like sure enough, right before dark, it's going to die down, and then that's when the deer are gonna they're not dumb either. They know they know when they can have an advantage with the thermals and not and all that. A whole bunch of people are.
That's a good point. It depends on when he's hunting. Like if you're hunting midday, there's a possibility to beat it. That's kind of what I was talking about. But if you're hunting evening, just about every evening, your thermals are going to take over at some time. They're going to start dropping.